Looking at the top stories this hour, Elections Commission commences surveying polling stations for the upcoming presidential election. MSCL commences a project to increase number of check-in counters at Velana International Airport. And a United Nations Special Envoy for Yemen arrives in Yemen for emergent mediation of the crisis in the key Red Sea port of Hudaida.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nasma Abdul Mohsin and this is PSM News. Elections Commission of Maldives commences surveying polling stations for the upcoming presidential election. Elections Commission stated it has commenced surveying of polling stations to hold the presidential election, adding that mostly schools have been allocated as polling stations. According to the electoral body, 85% of all preparations for the 2018 presidential election have been completed. June 20th is the deadline to file any complaints regarding the voters list. According to the provisional voters list, 263,183 Maldivians are eligible to cast their votes in the upcoming election. Moreover, Elections Commission revealed ballot boxes for the election will be kept in all inhabited islands, some resorts, industrial islands and some other countries. The electoral body has opened opportunity for local and international media to monitor the Elections Commission. Incumbent President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum, former Minister of Home Affairs Omar Nasir and former Vice President of Local Government Authority Suja Hussain have so far announced their candidacy for the presidential election. Deadline for filing declarations of candidacy for the 2018 presidential election is the 15th of July. Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL commences a project to increase the number of check-in counters at Velana International Airport. MACL has also revealed that more airlines have expressed interest in commencing operations in Maldives. Every year, the year-end is recorded as busy days for the main gateway of Maldives, Velana International Airport. Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL commemorating year-end makes special arrangements. Even though the Maldivian airport is relatively smaller in size, it is noteworthy that MACL offers swift services to tourists. Similar to every year, MACL has commenced to arrange ways of swift service in the tourism season. In this regard, the company has begun increasing check-in counters in the airport. Speaking with PSM News, Managing Director of MACL, Adil Musa, stated, lack of space is a challenge faced in providing services at the airport, which he expressed will be solved with the completion of the new terminal. Adil Musa revealed that 10 check-in counters will be added to the current 34 counters in operation. Moreover, he said that efforts to improve the gate holding area is also underway, highlighting work will be completed by October. Furthermore, revealing that 3 new airlines have expressed interest to begin operations in Maldives, Adil Musa said final discussions have now begun. He said discussions to increase the number of flights of currently operated airlines are also in progress. Managing Director of MACL revealed $1.3 million will be spent on the project to increase the check-in counters. Island Council of Faro states the government has the full support from the residents to develop an airport at the island. Refuting rumours which imply that residents object the development of an airport on the island, the council stated the government has full support of all residents. Moreover, the Island Council stated even though some of the residents have uncertainties about the blueprint of the airport and the city hotel, which will be developed as part of the airport development project, there are no objections about the project as a whole. The council claims the residents of the island have been supporters of the then government when it decided to develop the airport 26 years ago, and even today they are with the government every step of the way. According to the Island Council, Island Aviation Services Limited is holding a meeting on the 19th of this month regarding the EIA. The project for the development of an airport at Fano Island of Ryatol was handed to Island Aviation on the 30th of May, and the project will be divided into 2 phases and will be developed with a city hotel. The government is working tirelessly in order to open the airport within a year. Department of Higher Education opens applications for the scholarships under Malaysian Technical Cooperation Program offered by the Malaysian government. Under this program, postgraduate and PhD scholarships are offered from 9 different fields. The fields include science and engineering, agriculture and fisheries, economics and Islamic finance, information and communication technology, biotechnology, biosecurity and food safety, infrastructure and utility, environmental studies and healthcare. According to the Department of Higher Education, an unlimited number of seats will be offered to applicants with the best results. The department also stated that students who are interested in applying for the seats should submit application forms and the paperwork necessary before 1300 hours of 24th of this month. According to the Department of Higher Education, tuition fees, living allowances and other expenses will be provided to the students who are selected for this program. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Muhammad Muiz states the government has never damaged any historic or religious monument in Maldives. The Minister of Housing made the statement refuting rumours spread regarding the relocation of Karwakar Mosque, an ancient mosque in Maldives. Addressing the ceremony held to inaugurate Rasrani Winter Park, Minister Muiz stated that the government will be relocating the mosque to a more suitable site. He also noted that this was not the first time the mosque is being relocated. He reminded the mosque had been moved on 3 occasions in the past. The government delegated the responsibility of relocating the mosque to the Department of Heritage during the development of Rasrani Park. In the past 4 years, the government has constructed and upgraded a number of mosques in numerous islands of Maldives. Ministry of Environment and Energy states that it is preparing to open the nature park of Formula City, which is built to promote ecotourism. According to the ministry, the park, developed under the Climate Change Adaptation Project, is funded by the European Union to protect the muddy areas and mangroves of Formula is one of the main focuses of this project. According to the communication officer of this project, Ali Shamin, platforms on the parks have been built and they are on the edge of completing the office. Shamin stated that the rest of the work needed to complete the nature park will be done by the end of the month, and the rules regarding the park are made and sent for publication. Moreover, according to Shamin, various leisure activities can be conducted in the park as soon as the recreation facilities are developed. When the nature park is opened, it will help to advertise the beauty of the mangroves and will attract more people to the city. Maldives Association for Travel Agents and Tour Operators Matato promotes Maldives at China. 5 local firms along with Matato represented Maldives in the International Travel Expo ITE held in Hong Kong from the 14th to the 17th of June. In this regard, Villa Hotels and Resorts, Exciting Travel Holidays, Vistas Company, Travel Service and Velana Beach participated in the expo. Matato revealed the fair was specifically targeted at the largest tourism market in the world, China. According to Matato, the expo attracted over 12,000 visitors from the travel, tourism and business industry. Matato revealed plans to increase efforts to promote Maldives abroad, with already participating in 6 different international travel fairs so far this year. ITE Hong Kong is the city's only travel fair, covering the neighboring cities such as southern China. The move, unveiled by the Trump administration to impose additional 25% tariffs on Chinese goods worth around $50 billion and the countermeasures taken hours later by China, have aroused great concerns among American media.
The Washington Post said in its article with tariffs, Trump starts unraveling a quarter century of U.S.-China economic ties, that the decision marked the president's boldest step so far to implement his America First strategy. The aggressive approach is also rattling American business leaders and even his Republican allies in Congress. The Hill cited the words of John Murphy, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Vice President of International Affairs, that about $75 billion of U.S. exports will be hit with retaliatory tariffs in the first week of July. Some American business leaders said that with so many countries and organizations announcing retaliatory tariffs at the same time, the benefits of American retailers, farmers and auto workers, all workers involved in the global value chain, are at risk. The article pointed out that with the trade disputes between the United States and other trade partners intensifying, imposing tariffs will finally morph into a potential threat to Americans' finances that goes beyond paying a little extra for a steak, a TV, or other everyday items. Some experts said that if the trade disputes lead to the slow economic growth in the United States, it will largely affect the employment and cause losses to Americans. The disputes will also offset the growth brought by the tax reduction policy announced last December. The article cited the words of a renowned expert that one of the most significant worries for the U.S. economy is a series of possible retaliations targeted to the U.S. government's approach of imposing tariffs. China has unveiled a list of products from the United States that will be subject to additional tariffs in response to U.S. announcement to impose additional duties on Chinese imports. Approved by the State Council, the Customs Tariff Commission of the State Council has decided to impose additional duties of 25% on 659 items of U.S. products worth about $50 billion. According to a statement of the Commission, additional tariffs for 545 items worth about $34 billion, including agricultural products, vehicles and aquatic products, will be effective from July 6, 2018. The implementation date for imposing additional tariffs on the remaining 114 items covering chemical products, medical equipment and energy products will be announced later.
The United Nations Special Envoy for Yemen, Martin Griffiths, arrives in Yemen for emergent mediation of the crisis in the key Red Sea port of Hodeidah.
The United Nations Special Envoy for Yemen, Martin Griffiths, aimed to persuade the Houthi rebels to hand over the area's control right to the government to avoid a large-scale military operation which will lead to destruction of local infrastructure. The forces loyal to Yemeni President Abdurrabbu Mansur Hadi, with the backing of the Saudi-led coalition, launched an offensive on Hodeidah on Wednesday in a bid to capture the key port from the hands of the Houthi rebels. Griffiths had expressed his deep concerns over the escalation of the Hodeidah crisis on Wednesday, saying the conflict would deteriorate humanitarian situation in the area. He stressed that military operations cannot solve the problem and he would not give up any effort that can stop a military conflict. A prolonged siege of the city will have catastrophic humanitarian consequences, as Hodeidah is the single most important point of entry for imports of food, fuel and medicine. More than 22 million people in the war-torn country are in need of humanitarian assistance, and over 70% of them live in proximity to Hodeidah and Salif, another Red Sea port. Many of the estimated 600,000 citizens in Hodeidah are dependent on assistance to survive. Griffiths just concluded his mediation in Yemen on June 5th. This is his second visit in 2 weeks for fear of humanitarian situation deterioration in the area. As the military confrontation escalated, more residents living in the affected area began to flee to the urban area of Hodeidah.
Migrants disembarked from the first port in a naval convoy carrying a total of 629 rescued migrants when it arrived in the Spanish port of Valencia, ending a grueling 9-day sea voyage but leaving wide open a fierce debate in Europe about how to handle immigration.
In swoop to help the group of mainly sub-Saharan Africans on board the Aquarius last week, offering the charity-run ship a berth 700 nautical miles away after Italy and Malta refused to let it dock. Italian Coast Guard ship Dattilo that took aboard 274 of the Aquarius's passengers to make the trip safer arrived soon after dawn in the eastern Spanish port, where a staff of 2,320, including volunteers, translators and health officials, awaited. The Aquarius will be the next ship to arrive and the final boat in the convoy, the Orion.
Latin American fans are winning the hearts of Muscovites, singing to the residents of the Russian capital as they arrive for their World Cup matches.
A bridal couple in full wedding dress even posed for photos with chanting Peruvian fans in central Moscow. Peru has qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 36 years, putting the Latin American country in the limelight and back on the map for more than mountains and cabbage. Interest in the team is growing as more and more Peruvian fans arrive in the city, with residents taking photos and joining in the party with the ecstatic fans. One of the largest but also definitely the loudest is the Argentine fan base, which practically took over the whole pedestrian street leading to the Kremlin. Hanging flags and banners across buildings, swinging off window sills and banging drums, the Argentinians regaled Russian residents with football chants and songs.
Tag, a film based on the true story of a group of friends who continued the childhood game well past adolescence into adulthood, brought the movie's cast closer together in real life.
I love you.
The romantic comedy's cast includes John Hamm, Jeremy Renner, Ed Helms, Jake Johnson and Hannibal Buress, among others. Renner plays Jerry, the one member of the game who has not ever been tagged in the decades the gang have been playing. The film features numerous action sequences as the group of friends try and fail to tag Jerry. However, Renner was not so lucky in reality as he broke his wrist and elbow escaping from the clutches of his co-stars. Tag is in theaters now.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.